Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of our show, After Work Chats. Today we're going to have LK as our guest, and it's Gleb again as your favorite host. I know that. So, hi LK, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Lev, for having me again.
Yep, it's my pleasure. And today I decided, because I have the sole responsibility and the privilege of picking topics. So, and I thought this should be interesting to talk about recent developments in the industry and cover some news. Something that caught my attention was that the nurses secured a new contract with HCA, and especially they were focusing on
Hmm.
AI and AI protection. So here in the U.S., we had major strikes in Hollywood with AI protection for artists and content writers, and I didn't know. Like I was not aware that there's some of this same problems basically happening in the healthcare industry as well. And it was kind of interesting to me to find out that nurses are not happy. And I mean, there are a lot of reasons, but from my understanding is that like the main pain point for nurses is that the decision making is getting out of their hands, is basically getting into the hands of AI, which is AI suggesting what to do, taking notes, and giving suggestions on not only procedures but also medication and how to proceed with rehab. And I from like reading, there are a lot of things that they're being said, but like main point for me was that nurses are afraid that their control is getting out of their hands, and that's kind of what we experienced it firsthand with LK, because front desk like nurses and front desk staff at the hospitals that we deal with, they're scared that we're gonna take their place, because uh, it's just like nature, because everybody's scared that they're gonna lose a job, and they wanted to be protected from that. And so,
Right.
and because AI is so big now, there's a big push. So like us, we're not that they're not that big as AI, but AI is huge. It's being Epic is implementing AI. Other EMR softwares are implementing AI as well, and now there's a big push, and there's a big pushback from the nurses as well. So
Right.
exactly, yeah. So what exactly happened? So why I decided to talk about it. So there's a company, and I guess everybody that listens to our podcast knows it's a company, HCA, a huge corporation. They have around, and I'll pull out the numbers so I don't lie, but there's around 190 clinics. They have 186
Yep.
hospitals
Yes.
around the U.S. and including United Kingdom as well. They have 300,000 employees, and they're a huge corporation. And the
Right.
issue was that there's a nurses union, which is also called, and
Hmm.
I don't want to lie, which is called National Nurses United. It's a huge union as well, and they represent nurses at 17. I guess 17. Yes. Yeah, 17 hospitals managed by HCA, and they represent around 10,000 nurses overall that worked at HCA facilities. But in this exact case, it was only 8,500 nurses that were involved. But still, huge number and huge pushback, because they were looking for new contracts, and there were a lot of things about like nurse floating improvements and inclusive documentations, obviously increases. But the main point was protection against untested technology, and which is protections against AI. And the main thing they're saying, the nurses are saying in this case, is that, well, I explained like kind of why they worried is because of the decision making is getting out of their hands, but also that they're pushing the saying that AI is not yet proven to be successful. And then also kind of what we also me and LK saw firsthand, that there's some scribing software that's used, and is using AI to suggest ways to solve the health issues that the patient has, and most of the times it's not really good and not really accurate. And yeah, we get it. Like we see it as well in our from our side, and then now the nurses there, we understand them. And So that's why it's called untested technologies, meaning that we don't know how good it is, how it's going to affect. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But on the other hand, like AI is good in terms of in my opinion, in terms of minimizing the time you spend on redundant tasks, but at the same time, like some key decision making points for me, in my personal opinion, should stay in hands of people because they sometimes they in my still for me people will know to how to make a better decision than a computer can for now. Maybe something will change in the future, but for now it is the case, and I'm happy that it's happening. I'm happy that they were able to successfully get a new contract with this protection against untested technology. So that's what I'm saying. So that was the goal. Apart from wage increases, which is obvious for every contract negotiation, and some other thing, the main thing was this protection against untested technology. So that's kind of like a quick run through what happens and what they did and what they fought for and successfully they won. And by the way, that's only not the only corporation. I saw it at the other company, and I don't want to. If I can't find it, I can't find it. Doesn't matter. But there was another company that's working in California. I think I can't remember the name of the company, and I don't want to spend too much time trying to find it. Uh, yeah, so actually there are some quotes here as well that I want to say, that some nurses are saying I don't even trust Epic to be correct. So that's Epic AI. So that's something that they're pushing against. And there are other, as I said, other hospital clinics. One is called Kaiser Permanente, which is an Oakland, California-based company that's also nurses are protesting that as well. So that's a big push in the industry, and a lot of steps are happening there. And now, kind of coming back to us, kind of outsourcing providers and just overall healthcare management. As I'm an account manager, I deal with this, but not on a day-to-day basis. Like I deal with clients, I deal with some other stuff like podcasts and all that stuff. I don't necessarily deal with work talking to hospitals every day, like in management, going through what's happening every day there from their side. So that's why I kind of wanted to ask LK, because he has much more experience than I do. It's kind of like, LK, wanted to get your opinion on what do you think about AI in the healthcare management in being implemented in kind of like giving suggestions to how to treat the patient, and just overall your opinion on AI in management. What do you think?
Right. Thank you, Gleb. All right. Well, Gleb, first of all, the thing is that AI, is it good or bad? That should be the
Yep.
concern. The what is it actually? And for that's my perspective, right? AI has a potential to be valuable tool in healthcare. It has a potential, but it must be used ethically, to be honest, and
Mhm.
responsibly. It should never replace human judgment, especially in critical decisions making. Or AI can assist humans, but it cannot fully replicate the complexity of human intuition and empathy. All right. And when we talk about patient, we're talking about human being, a living organism, right?
Yep.
And they need to have a human to human interaction. You have to look at their physical condition at the same time. Let's say let's not talk about the acute chronic diseases. Let's talk about a depression, right? Only
Hmm.
depression. What the most AI can do, the most AI can do is take questions and then give its answer based on those questions what they ask. What a doctor or a person sitting in front of them, they look at the expressions and the body languages and everything of the person. They look at their body
Yep.
movement, they look at their eye movement, they look at their color of the skin and everything, what their changes in them. So yes, AI is a valuable tool in assisting the clinical staff, but replacing the clinical staff, AI, I don't think so. Within next 100 years that could be achievable, right?
Yeah.
That's my opinion, and maybe maybe it's 200 years. All right. So
Yeah.
it's just my opinion. Now, replacing a human being, you should in the beginning, that nurses or sometimes the practice takes us as a their competitor. All right.
Yep.
Now, to the point, to some point they are right as well, because there have been companies who come up with the mindset that they will replace the in-house staff, take everything from the hospital, and then try to blackmail those corporations or those hospitals, because they're doing their work now, and it's kind of a blackmailing, because now they cannot go anywhere else. If they go anywhere else, they will have to move 5 steps back, and they don't want to do that. Whereas,
Yeah.
when we talk about, I'm going to talk about my company, right? Our ethics, right? We do not do that. We basically integrate ourselves into existing team. The practices we are working with, they are growing rather than downsizing, right? They're hiring more people in house, right? Now, do AI helping us? Yes, we are taking help from the AI. It's not that we being, MD Health Tech is not just only a resource providing company. We are a tech company, a healthcare practices or medical practices, a tech company as well,
How are you using
right?
AI? Can you give some use cases? How are you using AI to assist you?
We are using AI for our digital marketing stuff. We are using AI for our content creation stuff. We are using AI for our analyticals. We are doing AI for the visual data transcriptions for us. We are using AI. There are so many other domains that we are using AI for that. AI is a vital tool in 2024. If you're not using an AI, you're far behind than the humanity,
Yeah.
right? I'm using AI. I have a phone. I have installed, the GPT on that for the answers.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need quick answers. I do not have a time to read the whole article. I go ahead, copy paste that article, put it into the AI, machine, and I got, the summary of that.
Yeah.
So, being a human, being in 2024, and not adapting to technology is, it's impossible to do that. Okay, so
Yeah.
but the thing is, what are the limitations for AI implementation in healthcare? Since we are talking about that,
Mm-hmm.
right? AI should be used within clear boundaries, to be honest, right? It should be subject to rigorous testing, evaluation, and its decision making process should be transparent and understandable to healthcare providers. And additionally, AI should never be used in the way that could harm patients or diminish the quality of care.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's what my point is. All right. And when we talk, now that's a part of the AI from my perspective. When we talk about the nurses, right? Nurses are not, not at wrong at any cost, right? They're right, right? The nurses have a valid concern about the potential risk of AI in healthcare. They worry that the AI could lead to errors in diagnosis or
Mm-hmm.
treatment, reduce the importance of human judgment, right? Or can, and also can erode erode patient nurse relationships as well,
Yeah.
right? So that the contract basically protects against those factors. There are several key factors that the contract that the HCA and the nurses had, right? It ensured that AI is used under strict human supervision or oversight. The AI decisions are transparent and understandable, and the patient safety is always prioritized. That's what that contract is. For patients, nurses and providers can never be replaced. It's until unless there is some way that the scientist finds out that it can only be possible, in my opinion, when AI starts thinking of its own rather than getting feed in.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, and just kind of like also that I wanted to add to that point is this that I'm actually quoting. I don't want to paraphrase anything. The nurse with New York City Hospital, and I don't want to go too specific, but the main point that um, she's saying is that nurses normally a lot of the time spend on tasks that aren't easily been can be replaced by AI, which is just getting some patient education, just getting talking to a patient, understanding the problems, like engaging, having that engaging conversation, but also like having like compassionate, like psychological care. Like obviously, when you're in a hospital, you're most of the time hearing the news that you do not want to hear, and like, but there are like harsh truths that you have to hear, but you don't want to just because they're going to upset you. And that's why nurses are there to help um, help patients deal with this with the bad news because I that's the other thing that I think AI can never replace, being that human to human connection, human to human interaction, understanding when to like comfort a person if a person needs comfort, because as I said, hospitals are the main place for that, with
Right. Right.
harsh realities. Yeah.
Right.
So just anything else to add, LK?
Yeah, just one last liner. I would say, the
Yeah.
future of healthcare depends on ability to harness the power of AI, while upholding the highest ethical standards.
Yep.
That's the
I,
most
I agree.
important thing.
I
All
agree.
right. So
Highest ethical.
it's both standards,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And human AI, it has to go hand in hand, right? You
Yep.
cannot say that one is more important than other one. Yes, human are always they AI cannot ever replace the human judgment, right?
Yep.
Or the the empathy, the sympathy, right?
Yep.
But you know making sure that it's the AI is not doing more harm than being useful or beneficial for the society.
Yep.
That's what
And
needs to be addressed.
yeah, and I completely agree. Just yeah, one said like future is AI in terms of like learning models. And if you put
Yes.
a lot of data, it's gonna learn, and it's gonna get like better and better and better in terms of like giving some tips and giving some suggestions. Like even using doctors are now using Vision Pro, the Apple thing, to conduct
Mm.
surgeries, because there's more accurate in terms of like it's giving like tips like don't forget this, don't forget this, don't forget like those more mundane stuff.
Exactly.
Like do you remember that? Do you remember to do this? Do you remember to do this? That's good. That's obviously improvements, but
Exactly.
we're
Exactly.
we're we're we're, we're happy for nurses. I think that's a great push for them, and
Like, just imagine this, Gleb. Like,
yeah,
let's talk about like a complex surgery, right?
yeah,
And the students who are learning, right? They has to do practice. Now,
yeah,
with the help of AI, they do not need the real bodies to do that. They have AI.
exactly.
They got the VR
Yep,
and everything, and they're
yeah,
that for thousands of students, they can do the same thing, and it gives them the same
yeah,
rating, and it has the same feeling. There's simulations, flight simulations, driving simulations. There are
yeah,
war simulations, security simulations, everything in the simulation. They do not need a real environment. They now have a
yeah.
virtual environment. So
That
that's what the
they can
importance
get
of
like
AI
some
is.
yeah, yeah, and also like understanding how the body looks. It's also I just thought about this, like, so you know how exactly
Exactly.
all the muscles look like. You can walk around, touch, like look, without ever
Mm.
at any time needing the actual body to do this. So I think yeah, a lot
Exactly.
of great things are being developed, improved, and AI is definitely the future. But at the same time, it has to go hand to hand with human and with nurses, and we 100% understand and we 100% agree. And we
Exactly.
think it's a great thing for them. And I hope that all the concerns and issues is going to be solved at other locations, other clinics, other corporations as well. And yep, that's pretty much it for us. As I said, this Tuesdays and Thursdays is going to be me and LK just talking about news and covering what caught my attention. And I'm going to bring it to LK and ask his opinion, because he's an expert. He's been doing it for a while, and he has some thoughts. I have some thoughts. We're going to combine and share with you. I think great topics that we're going to be coming up. And yep, after work chats. Please like, subscribe, leave us a comment. We are on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, and we're on YouTube as well. Thank you very much. Thanks, LK,
Thank you, Gleb. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
and we'll see you soon. Bye.